The price of gold reached an all-time high this month, surpassing $1,800 an ounce. While most of us might see that as cause for economic concern, what you might not know is it's cause for environmental concern as well. There's been a gold rush in parts of the Amazon rainforest, which is home to millions of the world's species and provides about 20% of the world's oxygen. In the Peruvian Amazon region of Madre de Dios, an estimated 2,000 square miles of rainforest have already been destroyed due to the mining of gold. Peru is the sixth largest gold producer in the world, and 10% of its gold comes from this region. And this is where veteran war photographer Ron Haviv and journalist Donovan Webster went to document this latest ecological threat. Their journey is the subject of a forthcoming documentary, Amazon Gold.
I went to Peru, to the Amazon, about a year ago. And the whole premise of the story was to send a writer and a photographer into this zone where illegal gold mining was occurring and to document the effects of the gold mining on the environment. The area itself is just incredibly beautiful, an amazing place to be able to photograph. There's gold mining going on throughout the Amazon. Some of it's legal, but most of it's illegal. And they estimate probably, certainly in the Peruvian part of the Amazon, 90 to 98% of the gold mining there is illegal. So what does it mean when it's illegal is that there are no regulations, there are no environmental concerns, there are no concerns about safety. It's pretty much like the Wild West. Every man out for themselves, and everybody trying to gather up as much gold as possible in as quick a time as possible. And one of the photographs that is so beautiful yet so horrific when you understand what it is a photograph at basically taking at sunset with an entire foreground of emptiness and these beautiful, beautiful sky filled with clouds. When you actually understand that this was all rainforest just a little while ago, it turns from a beautiful photograph to one of absolute horror. As the market price of gold goes higher and higher, the profit margins for the miners on the ground become larger and larger. So obviously more and more people are heading to the Amazon to mine for gold. Miners are able to make probably in one day what, if they were doing a normal job, that would take them maybe a month and a half to 2 months to make. Here at the legal mine, I saw people taking these large hoses like fire hoses and breaking apart the earth. And then the earth would be sifted and the gold would be eventually separated through a variety of different processes. Eventually, they would add mercury where the gold would attach itself. They would be able to then burn off the mercury and wind up with the gold. But along all the lines of those processes, there are a lot of dangers that exist. At the illegal mines, the mercury is really used without any regard for safety whatsoever for the miners or for the land. There was a very dramatic scene where after the night of getting the dirt and making it into sort of small piles of mud, then they needed to really get the flecks of gold out. They put the mud into a barrel, they added water and they added mercury, and a man got into the barrel, barefooted, wearing shorts, with his feet started to knead the mud together, mixing the mercury with the dirt and the gold. So this man was completely exposing himself to mercury. Once it's in that water in the barrel, they then dump that barrel into the water supply, eventually poisoning where they are, and as the water travels, exposing more and more people to danger. None of this is going to stop without more public pressure on the Peruvian government to crack down on the whole process of illegal gold mining. There were areas where there was entire mining communities living. One of the places was a place called Lamal, which means the mud in Spanish. And it was very difficult to get there. It was very difficult to get access as an outsider. And we went there probably around 4 a.m. I saw this huge hole, maybe the size of 4 to 6 football fields. You could sort of see in the darkness some 4 to 5 men moving around. And as my eyes adjusted to what I was looking at, it was like witnessing an amazing scene of the earth having been ripped apart with the color adding this depth of the insides of the earth. Very red, very violent. And around the sides of the hole and inside the hole were felled trees that are hundreds of years old. So it was very apparent that it was like here was another battle scene. And it was just this amazing correlation to war and war photography that I've been doing for the last 20 years that became so apparent in documenting this part of the destruction of the rainforest. So as I walked away from the giant hole that they were mining in, and I walked into the pristine rainforest to see what it was like, the sounds of the chainsaws and the sounds of the drilling equipment became quieter and quieter, and the sounds of the forest became louder and louder. It's really very hard to reconcile that idea in your mind that the miners are moving forward and everything that you see that's green ahead of you could all be gone.
Since Rondavi's trip to Peru last year, the Peruvian government has made attempts to stop illegal gold mining in the Amazon. But after nationwide protests by illegal miners turned violent, the government suspended its efforts in exchange for an agreement to register the miners.